Over the last 15 years, I've always been asked, is it possible to make an off-grid shipping container office? I've always said no, but now with today's new technology, with heat pumps, solar panels, satellite internet, windmill technology, and how compact batteries are getting, I think it is doable. In this video, we're gonna run some tests with this Anker Solix F3800 and see what it's gonna take to go off-grid. Stay tuned, hope you learned something. Two of our previous container-based projects were microgrids that utilize solar power as the primary source of energy production, with the diesel generator as the backup power source, and it shut off when the batteries were full. I feel the same thing can be achieved at a much smaller scale and a much lower cost, utilizing a generator that you probably already own and this Anker backup battery solution. Traditionally, the only time offices such as this aren't plugged into the grid is when there's a power outage or they're running off a generator. What I love about this combo is you can utilize a 2,000 watt, 120 volt generator and put this battery pack in line. So now this thing can handle the 6,000 watt surges that sometimes we demand, but without the expansion packs or a generator, I know that this battery pack is not gonna run heat or cooling for a full 24 hours, but it will allow me to operate inside of here. The intelligent display on this thing is going to give me a whole bunch of awesome data and let me know what kind of power gets consumed when we turn the lights on, when I open my laptop, when I turn on my monitor. I am excited to get this information because I'm going to take it back to our design team, and then we're going to be able to figure out what kind of R value do we need with these GLOs? What kind of lights should we use? How many lights? All of this data is going to affect the design of our GLO if we plan on taking them off grid. We know we can mount solar panels to the side of shipping containers. We're working on a mount-to-mount windmills to the side or the roof of shipping containers. So we have lots of options to develop an off-grid office solution, and this is just the first step, and it's a very important step. So let's get right into it. So this thing here, this is not brand new. We've had this for about 8 months now, and it's become a staple within our modification process. Our electricians rely on this thing to test all of our electrified shipping containers before they go out to the customer. And it's the safest way to do it. When we plug in direct to the grid to test, there's potentially an issue. If a breaker didn't flip, you could have some arky-sparky going on, but this has all the surge protection built right into it. And we've even actually tested backfeeding through the output ports, and it just knows what's happening and just shuts off. So this container here, we've actually ran a different test with it with this transfer switch. We mounted this huge transfer switch on it, which allows us to plug this office either into the grid or a battery pack. And here, this 30 amp twist lock cord is what we use to plug it in. And so if we turn it on, we see we are at 100%, and take the cord, flip the display on, I can see it says 2.3 days remaining, but it's not pulling on anything. And in order to do that now, I need to go to my honkin' transfer switch here and switch it from grid to battery. Let's see what happened. 46 watts it says it's pulling, so let's jump inside and see what's turned on. Woo, let the 24-hour challenge begin. Oh, we're at 100 watts now with the lights on. So I got 3 big 4-foot LED fixtures in here, and I'm pulling 100 watts. If I want to make this office last 24 hours, I need to, on average, pull only 160 watts while I'm working in here. I better either open up the blinds or go get some lamps. I think I'm going to do that. Woo, got my lamps. I love actually working with these things because I use a softer bulb. I use a 2700 Kelvin bulb, which is a softer light. And these things only pull, it says 8.8 watts each, so I'll be using 17 watts instead of 100. That's gonna do wonders here. Let me plug them in. I actually think I like this lighting better, so let's get to work. Maybe one thing I can do, firing up the TV, 99 watts. We're still under our 160 watt available threshold. So it does look like I would make it 24 hours working in here without heat or air conditioning. Where we hit a bit of a kicker is if it's not August like it is today, where we don't really need heat, we don't really need AC, you can just crack a window, do whatever, we will need to run that mini split unit. And once we go turn that thing on, for a second there I thought something was wrong. The mini split wasn't spooling up right away, but that's kind of how these compressors work. Just give them a little bit of time. I turned it on. The whole office is pulling about 750 watts now. Definitely shouldn't be running all day, or I'm not going to make it throughout the day. And what's nice about these mini splits is it's like 3 to 5 to 1 amount of heat that it can pull out of the air, especially in the summertime, and pull that in. They're super efficient because there's already a lot of heat in the air when it's 70 degrees outside, and I just want it to be 75 or 74 inside. So let's check it out. I wish you could feel heat through a video because that is just pumping. Oh yeah, that's nice, and that's all battery power, so that's actually pretty amazing. So this thing's seriously only been running for about 2 minutes, and I'm ready to take my hoodie off, so I'm turning it off. I'm gonna do that quick here. Oh, so I'm back to work. It's telling me 23 hours and 12 minutes, and I've been here for a couple hours already now, so that's good sign, that's good news. I'm able to work off the grid. And that is insane. I just turned that on just very quickly, and it's super comfortable in here. That's one huge advantage with these GLOs and with spray foam insulation, is that it's such a tight envelope. I always refer to it as like a Yeti cooler inside of these things. It's just so tight. There's no air loss. It's gonna stay nice and warm in here, especially when I'm just having a small delta between temperature inside of here and the ambient temperature outside. One thing we can do to produce more power, even with the available battery storage that we have, is hook up solar panels, and we do have that actually. So Anker has provided us some solar panels that are temporary, and they fold up. They're a really cool unit. They're dirty for a reason, because we've been using them. That battery pack has been out on probably 6 camping trips from all of our employees throughout the summer. They're a great option for just RVers or whoever, just to give you some portable power when you do not have it. And they really help charge that thing, and they really increase your output, especially throughout the day while you're awake. When you need that power, it's producing that power for you. And so that's that for now. I got to get back to work, so you guys should get out of my office. I'm gonna work all day, and I'm gonna fill you in at the end of the day how much power we got left. So it's 4 o'clock today, and I still have 80% battery left. I have been using my computer, TV screen. I did turn the heat pump on, and we've had lights on all day. And I'm confident that this is gonna go through the night, and that's what I'm going to do. I have 3 kids at home, so I'm not gonna be spending the night here, but I am gonna leave some things on and check on it. But I did get the data that I need in order to run a calculation and make our ground level office go off the grid. Good night. So it's officially been 24 hours, or maybe even a little bit more, and I want to check how much juice is left in this thing. Whoa, 28%, so that did very well. I actually expected to see a lower number, but then again, all we were really running was the lights inside of this unit. But I am very thankful for the intelligent display and the app on this unit, because that gave me the data that I need to know in order to make off-grid site offices. We now know that it requires about 1,000 watts just to run this thing with the heat pump running, and then with every person that's in there, they require about another 200 watts, and that's when there's not a lot of heat or cooling required in the milder seasons. But if you're gonna get into the heat of summer or the dead of winter, you're gonna need probably another 1,500 watts, and then you're probably getting into needing some sort of propane furnace, or whether it's a gas generator or something, to ensure that this bad boy is topped up. But I want to repeat, I do really like the option of utilizing this thing in line with a generator. This thing will provide that 240 volt, make sure everything runs inside of here, and a smaller generator that's very efficient on fuel will just charge this up back to 100%, and then you can turn it off. Thank you very much, Anker, for sponsoring this video. We survived the 24-hour challenge. If you got value from this video, please help us out, give it a like, and subscribe to our channel. And as always, check us out at tcg.ca. Hope you learned something.
Anker Solex is launching their Power Outage Living Challenge. Scan the QR code to enter the Anker Solex Power Outage Facebook group and share your outage experience for a chance to win.